One of my favorite things about cooking is the way that it encourages me to connect with both others and myself. Whether it be cooking a meal with my boyfriend, cooking a meal for my friends, or taking the time to cook myself a tasty, nourishing meal, I just really enjoy the process of pouring love into the food that I make. In today's video, I'm sharing 5 recipes with you that are perfect for date night. Whether this be with your friends, your partner, or yourself, they are recipes that are super enjoyable to prepare so that you can slow down and enjoy cooking a delicious meal. The first recipe I am excited to share with you today is this one for some homemade veggie burgers with some wedges. I love this so much, and I start by making the wedges. I am using some white potato and cutting them up into thick wedge pieces. Now, I think one of the tricks with making perfect, delicious, flavorful wedges is first of all mixing your oil and all of the spices that you're going to use together. So I'm using some parsley, onion, garlic, some veggie stock powder, salt, pepper, and some nutritional yeast, mixing this with some olive oil. And then what I'm going to do is put all of those wedges pieces that I've cut up into this mix and mix it all together until they're nice and well coated. So once these are all well coated, I'm going to put them onto a lined baking tray and put these in the oven to roast for about 40 to 45 minutes. I really think that patience with wedges is also one of the arts of making them super, super delicious. Whilst those are cooking, I'm getting into making our veggie patties. So I am starting with some pumpkin here and cutting this into, doesn't really matter what size pieces because we're going to boil this and then end up blending it together to make the veggie patties. So probably the smaller the better if you want to efficiently cook the pumpkin. But I'm boiling that away, and once it's done, draining it and putting it into a blender with some chickpeas as well as some breadcrumbs, some chia seeds. Then I'm also adding in some tahini. I love tahini so very much, as well as some spices. Then from there I am adding in some salt and some pepper, as well as some flour, and then putting the lid on and blending this all together. If you are struggling, like you feel like the mixture is a bit too wet, you can add in some extra flour, and that should moisten it up a bit and make it easy to roll into patties. So this should make about 4 veggie patties, so you can make this for 4 people if you'd like to. You can double up the patties on your burger. You can store some in the fridge to enjoy throughout the week. You know I love making things that I can enjoy throughout the week. But basically, I mold these into patties and then fry them in some olive oil in my pan, and then making sure I'm flipping them and when they are golden on both sides. When it comes to making my burger, I really like to make mine in a similar way most of the time. So I'm having some vegan mayonnaise as well as some lettuce, then putting the veggie patty as well as some vegan cheese, some fresh tomato, cucumber, and some red onion, and then topping it with the burger bun and serving with my homemade wedges with some barbecue sauce on top. Super delicious, nourishing. Yeah, really, really love this recipe. Alrighty, I'm really excited because I'm about to get into showing you this gorgeous paella recipe. But first, I want to say a big thank you to my friends at Cosmic Cookware who have sponsored today's video. Honestly, you've probably already noticed in the past few months me using this gorgeous cookware from Cosmic Cookware. It is literally so nice. I just really like having nice things to use in the kitchen, and yeah, Cosmic Cookware, literally. Let's just have a moment for this pan, literally the perfect pan. So yes, this is my go-to pan. This is their Cosmo pan. As you can see, it is quite big, really good for meal prepping. I honestly use this nearly every single day of my life because it is, first of all, such a good pan, and second of all, just like the perfect size for prepping like a big breakfast, for example, and being able to do everything in the same pan, or for making a dinner for myself and my loved ones, and just, yeah, having a good, decent sized, gorgeous pan. I honestly think that Cosmic Cookware is the perfect gift if you have a foodie in your life who perhaps would like some really nice, beautiful, but also very, very functional cookware. And there are a few things I want to share with you about Cosmic Cookware today that also add to why I really, really love their cookware so much. So they are 100% Swiss made with a natural non-stick ceramic coating, and they are great for stewing, braising, boiling and baking. As well as that, they are toxic free and chemical free with a non-stick coating, and they are ridiculously easy to use and to clean. You can also use them in the oven up to 230 degrees Celsius, and you can use them on all different types of stovetops. And according to research, the safest non-stick cookware that you can find is ceramic coated cookware, stainless steel, cast iron and carbon steel cookware. I genuinely love all of the cookware that I have from Cosmic Cookware, and I would buy it myself. They very kindly offered a discount for my viewers, so I'm going to leave all the details with my discount code and the discount on the screen, and everything will be linked down in the description box as well if you want to check it out. Let's get back into the video, let's get to cooking, and of course we're using my gorgeous green Cosmo pan. Okay, so to make this paella, which I love so very much, I start by putting some olive oil into my pan, followed by some red onion, which I'm frying up. Then from there, I'm putting the lid on to get that to soften up a little bit, removing the lid after a few minutes and adding in some florets of broccoli. Then once that's fried up for a few minutes, I add in some tomato and some red capsicum, which I have finely diced. And then I'm also adding in some smoked paprika as well as some garlic powder. I'm just mixing this all together to get the spices nice and evenly over all of my veggies there. And yeah, it's looking so vibrant and delicious. Then I'm adding in some white rice, which I have washed, as well as some vegan beef stock powder and some veggie stock powder. And then I'm putting over a few cups of water and mixing this all together so that everything's nice and even. I'm putting the lid on and leaving this to cook for about 15 to 20 minutes. And once it's done, we should have the rice nice and well cooked. We add on the lemon juice as well as some parsley and some salt and pepper and mix this all together to finish, and it should have a really nice consistency, as you can see. Now this serves once again about 4 people. You can halve it for 2 if you're having a romantic date night, or again you can make it in bulk to enjoy throughout the week. It is super delicious and also really easy to make, so I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. Now this next recipe is for rice paper dumplings. I was inspired by Ceci Brown, who's one of my favorite vegan recipe creators over on Instagram, and I love the idea of making these and having like fun with it as well with someone else. I started this by grating some carrot and then also grating some tofu. As you can see, you have to get a whole heap of this tofu and really get in there and grate it all. Then I'm also getting some cabbage, which once again you can grate if you'd like, or you can finely chop it like I have. I am going to leave Ceci's recipe down below if you want to check it out. I also then added some spring onion that I had chopped up, and I put all of this into a bowl to mix it all together. I also grated in some garlic into this one, and then I added in some maple syrup as well as some soy sauce. Then I'm going to mix this all together so it gets nice and even. This is going to be the filling for our rice paper dumplings. These were honestly so fun to make, and also like a really mindful thing to make as well. I think one of the beautiful things about cooking is how it can be so mindful and relaxing if you allow yourself the time to do it, or if you have the time to do it. And yeah, I found it to be that way with making these, that's for sure. So we're just wrapping them up as you can see, and you are going to wrap 2 sheets of rice paper around each dumpling mixture, and then you transfer all of them into your pan. So I just put a little bit of oil in here. You won't need a whole lot, and I fried them up until they start to get nice and crispy on both sides. Basically what you want, you don't want them to be too golden, you just want them to be nice and crispy. And these are things that can keep throughout the week as well if you want to enjoy them throughout the week. So to serve, I just put all of these onto a plate. I drizzle with some teriyaki sauce, which I am just loving so much at the moment, as well as some spring onions. These are so packed full of flavor. They are deceptively filling as well because they've got all that tofu in there for the protein, and as you can see, they just look absolutely delicious. The next recipe is one I'm really excited to share with you because this is honestly one of my favorites of the video. We are making this delicious tomato and lentil soup, which may sound simple, but I promise you it is on another level. So to start, I start with some oil into my pan, followed by some diced brown onion. Then I'm adding in a whole punnet of cherry tomatoes and mixing this together before adding in some garlic powder as well as some harissa seasoning. This adds like such a beautiful flavor to this soup. I love it so much. I put a little bit of water in and then I put the lid on the pan and left this to simmer for about 10 minutes. Then I took the lid off and all of the tomatoes were really soft, so it allowed me to press them and get all of that beautiful tomato juice out of them. I also added in some tomato paste to add that rich tomato flavor. Then I added in some tinned tomatoes, continued stirring it, and then I added in some water as well as some veggie stock powder. I mix this all together, and then again I am adding in one more thing, which is my lentils. I just used lentils from a can that I drained and rinsed, and then I am going to put the lid on and leave this to cook for quite a little while. Like I'm talking 20 minutes on a low heat to allow everything to soak up that beautiful flavor. Whilst that's happening, I also made this yummy like chili butter bread. I don't really know what to call it. I mixed some vegan butter and some hot sauce together to make a really nice chili kind of butter, and then I spread this onto my pieces of bread, and then I put this into the oven to cook. You can also make just some traditional garlic bread if you'd like to, but I really like the flavor that this added to it. So when it came to serving, I am just transferring the soup into a couple of bowls, and then I am also serving with a few fun, delicious things. So topping it with some coconut yogurt as well as some chopped raw almonds and some coriander for some extra flavor and some freshness, and then serving with the bread as well. This is seriously such a delicious meal, something that when I was cooking it, I did feel like I was pouring a lot of love into it, especially with the presentation as well. So I hope that you really enjoy it as much as I did. The next thing we are making today is one of my all-time favorites. It's this spinach and ricotta pasta shells in a beautiful tomato sauce, and I start with an onion. I feel like I've started with onion in nearly every recipe today. It's just so good. I am cutting this onion, dicing it into fine pieces, and then I am putting a little bit of oil into my pan, followed by the onion that I had cut up, and we're going to start by frying this all up. Then I am adding in some crushed garlic, continuing to fry this up, and then into my pot I am putting in some cashews to boil to get them nice and soft. Whilst they are boiling, I am then putting in some tomato paste in with my onion and garlic mixture. Then I am also adding in some tinned tomatoes, of course, and then some brown sugar to add some subtle sweetness as well as some salt and some pepper. So I am mixing this together. Once again, we place an emphasis on allowing this to slow cook for a little while, and whilst it's cooking, we're making our ricotta with those cashews as well as some firm tofu, some dill, some garlic and onion powder, some salt and some pepper, some veggie stock powder, some lemon juice and some nutritional yeast, as well as some water to allow it to blend well. And then I blended this together until it was really nice and smooth. Whilst that was blending, I also put some pasta shells into the water to cook, and then I also had defrosted some frozen spinach in a frying pan, which I mixed together with that vegan ricotta mixture to get our spinach and ricotta mixture for the shells. From here, I'm then transferring that tomato sauce that looks so beautiful and rich into a baking dish, and I am getting the cooked pasta shells and filling them with the spinach and ricotta mixture and placing them into this tomato sauce. This, once again, is something I just love cooking with my hands and just really putting a lot of love into the food. And this is a recipe that does take a little bit of time, but it is always worth it when you are eating it. So I put this in the oven to cook, and as you can see, it just looks so beautiful and flavorful. I usually have 6 to 7 shells myself when I eat it. and it is just such a divine meal. Honestly, I just love making these pasta shells so much, whether it be for someone that I love or for myself. They are so delicious and are one of those meals that takes a little while to cook but is always worth the effort. And these pasta shells also bring us to the end of today's video. I really hope you enjoyed and got some fun new ideas of meals that you can create from a space of love, whether that be for yourself, for your romantic partner, your friends, your family. I think cooking for people is a really beautiful thing to do, or cooking with people as well is a really beautiful thing to do and a great way to connect with others. So yeah, anyway, hope you enjoyed. As always, thanks for being here. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next week with another video. Have a beautiful day. Bye.